first game I want to talk about is a recent Kickstarter I received in the mail, and this is Vindication, published
Mm.
by Orange Nebula, designed by Marc Neidlinger. This is a game that I had no idea about when I backed it. There was a span of like 2 or 3 months where if a game was semi-interesting to me, I backed it.
Yeah, hell yeah. I
Yeah. Yeah.
totally am,
Uh, Actually, there's another game that's on my table right now, just being unpacked, and it's called Potemkin Empire. Also, have no idea what this game is. This is from Indie Boards and Cards, but it was in that same era, and they both shipped around the same time. So, go me. But Vindication is friggin' amazing. Okay, so what it is, Vindication is a Euro queue pushing resource management game disguised as a heavy thematic game. Theme wise, this game has been out. This was its second printing, so I know that people have already been playing this for a while. They also kickstarted an expansion called Leaders and Alliances. Was that right? Yes, I'm right. Leaders and Alliances. Is also, of course, having never played the game, I also backed the expansion as well because I am a smart individual with my extremely large head. Right?
yes.
It's with the brain.
You know what they say?
What?
Bigger head, bigger smarts.
They do say that. Yes, they do.
They all.
They do say that. They
all of them.
Every single one. Okay, so in this game, you are the theme, the story behind it, the narrative is that you are a decrepit scumbag that has washed ashore this island, and someone has pulled you up into the island, and you're trying to become not a scumbag, not the wretched person that you are. And you do that by vindicating yourself, hence the name of the game. Do you get it? Yeah, I know. It's brilliant. Okay, so the resources, like I said, it's a resource management game, but the resources are as follows: wisdom, knowledge, vision, strength, courage, something else. But it's things like that, right? Like, that's just what they name them. Everyone has their own player board, which has your potential, and it has your influence, and it has your... See, it's kind of like this where I should really get the game out in front of me because I don't remember what all the reasons. Conviction. I knew it was going to come to me. The third one was conviction, and essentially, it's like the Powerball slightly from Terra Mystica or a Gaia Project, where you're trying to move one resource from one bowl to the other, and so these are your power cubes, and you're trying to get it out of your potential as you're trying to reach your potential into your influence, and the bulk of what you're doing is from your influence, and then your influence can go into conviction, and that's what helps you do even more powerful things. But what's happening is this board, it's a hexagon board. That means it has 6 sides, for all you math nerds out there, and each in the middle are these hexagon spaces where you put the regions that you expose or that you discover as you are moving around the map. Okay. And each region will do something different. And they are how you get the resources, like knowledge and wisdom, things like that. It's also how you get different cards. There's a lot of cards in this game, and the cards will be your companions. So each companion will do something different. And there are 3 colors of companions. There's also cards that are monsters, and there are cards that are traits, and there are cards that are relics. Oh man, I'm doing so good without looking at the game. Okay, and each card will say what it does on the card itself, but the companions are the easiest to get. So those are ones you can get with your basic resources. Now imagine, if you will, a triangle, and at each point of this triangle is one of those resources, being knowledge, strength, and inspiration. Okay, those are the 3 basic, not traits. They're called, in the game, they are called attributes. See, I know what I'm doing here. So those are the 3 basic attributes. Now, if you shift that triangle 45 degrees without those attributes, you're pointing to 3 other attributes. Okay, I know this doesn't make sense visually, but I'm trying to do the best I can.
We have a screenshot of like kind of.
Oh, good. Okay. And so those attributes are more powerful attributes. More powerfuler. That's not a word.
Man, it is now.
Smart, big head. Okay, so those are the ones that are like wisdom and courage and vision. Okay, and that's how you're going to get the relics, and that's how you're going to fight the monsters with courage. the the relics come with vision, and the traits will come from the other one that I said that I don't remember what I said. But those are the more powerful cards. Okay, and so on your turn there are three things that you can do. You can either move, you can either visit a region, or let's see, move, visit, and something else that's not as important that will come back to me at some point. I'm doing really good with this explanation, by the way. I don't know if you knew that, but I'm killing it.
The absolute best.
Yeah, really good. Okay, so so then with those actions, as you move around, it exposes the tiles on the map, and you visit the regions to buy cards and to do different things. But really, it's just managing these resources, because you need the resources on your own player board, the influence, those ones potential. That's how you actually do things on the board, are with those cubes, and your companions and all the other things will do different things to help you. To get points at the end of the game. And points in this game, or as they are called in the game, which is honor, that the way you get those at the end game, the end game scoring comes with the person who has the most of each color of card will get that like scoring tile. Okay, and so each card type is a different color. So there are three colors of companions, and then the relics are purple, the traits are green, and the monsters are orange. And so the person who has the most orange points, or the most orange cards, the most orange cards will get the orange scoring card for the end of the game. And so ultimately what you're trying to do is just to get the most colors to get the most points at the end of the game, and then the person with the most points wins. Okay, so I know that sounds kind of weird without really seeing it, but this game has been absolutely fantastic. The first time I played it was with my wife. It was just us two, and we just played the vanilla game. In the box, it comes with a bunch of smaller expansions, but we just played the base game just to kind of understand it. We both really liked it and are excited to play it again just as a two-player, because it is that I enjoy it for the more storytelling aspects of it, meaning the story that it tells or it unfolds. And she likes it because it's the more Euro style of game. Now, the next time I played it was for game night, and we played the full complement of 5 players. And I was like, well, that was easy enough. I'm going to throw in the big giant expansion that they also kickstarted. And so we did that as well. And it took like 45 minutes to teach the whole thing. And like, it was a bit overwhelming at first, but everyone kind of got it, and they really dug it, the base game and the expansion. What it does is it adds 6 faction boards, like small faction boards that you can gain influence in, and each one has 2 different abilities on them. And as you gain more influence, you can spend that influence to do those abilities, and it just helps manipulate the board in different ways. And there's a lot more details. If you're interested in this game at all, I highly recommend checking it out, though. You said that you saw a lot of people toting this around at Gen Con. Did you get a chance to actually look at it at all, or play or what's it called, a demo it at all?
No.
Are you interested in it? The end.
Yeah, I'm interested in it, and the reason why I think I noticed it is because it's a huge box, right?
It's a big old
yeah,
boy.
it's a big old box, and so it was hard to miss. I think I've seen a couple of people carry it around, but then again, like, I don't know, there are a lot of things that people carry around at Gen Con that you just end up passing through because it's just crazy. But I mean, yeah, it's really weird. For some reason that stuck out when you said you were playing Vindication. I think I also have friends as well that were either backed it for the same reason that you did, which is an interesting phenomena that at a period of time where, you know, again, we go through like this mini phase, like the miniatures phase, right? So the Blood Rage, the Rising Sun, the Modiphius, where you have like the Siege of the Citadel reprint, which is still like close to 2 years. And then now we're starting to kind of get a little, dialing it a bit back and kind of going into how can we take a mechanism and change it, put it on its head, add something, remove something, and you know, bringing in by the illustration design. And I think Vindication is part of that whole process, where it was coming down from the miniatures. It just has this great big box appeal, and it delivers, I think, on that front based upon, you know, what you've been telling me and just kind of general chatter I've heard as well. So that's pretty cool and exciting. It isn't anything though that I think I need to go and buy. It'd be great one day if someone asked me to come and play it. I'd be down,
Hmm.
but at the same time, probably not for me in my collection. But we'll see.
See, and that's interesting you say that because I really don't think it's doing anything drastically new.
Mm.
Like the mechanisms are all from other games as well. I don't know the interaction between the map and the resources is super interesting. And what's funny is you're as you were talking about the miniatures, the base game does come with a bunch of miniatures for each faction, and they're monuments you can build, which is one of the expansions. Now in the base game, when it first came out, they did absolutely nothing. Like as you built the miniature, all you did was put the miniature on the board, like on your own player board, to say that it was built, and that's all it did. And I
Hmm.
think there was some backlash for that. The leaders and alliances comes with a variant to actually put use to those miniatures and actually make them functional, and they actually go out onto the board and things like that, and do different things. There are other ways to get end game points. I actually didn't explain that, but it's like the most areas you control gives you points, and there's other things as well. But I totally can see that. I don't know if I would have backed it if I went and saw it. I don't know. It's a really beautiful game. The art is incredible. The production value is incredible. And it really is a joy to play. So, but it definitely would be like a try before you buy. Don't do what I did, just play it and buy it, or do. You know what? I don't care. You do you,
You
people
do
who listen to
you.
us.
Heck
Anyway,
yeah.
it's great. It's a great game. That's all I have to say about it.
The end.
The end. Well, no, I'm trying to think because there are a bunch of small expansions in the box. Like the base game has 19 tiles for the map, and there's probably about 10 to 15 more that are small expansions that replace other ones. The expansion, the Leaders and Alliances expansion, comes with a lot of solo play stuff, which I don't even care about because I don't do solo gaming myself. There are, yeah, there's just a ton of game in the box. It's one that I can see that you can play over and over again and have a different experience. But I'd say after like 10 plays, you'd probably see everything.
Hmm.
But what game
Um.
have I played 10 times?
Exactly.
Scythe?
Yeah,
Root?
probably. You ruined it.
I've ruined it.
You ruined it. If you could associate Vindication to a game, whether it be to a mechanic, like what does it feel like in terms of another game in its genre?
Mmm. Mmm.
Like, can you partner it? Like, if you like X, you would like Vindication, right?
So it's funny you say that because before I just said that it's really not doing anything new, but I really can't think of anything that it's like, which is really interesting because there's no combat, well, between players. There's no, like, at first I was thinking Scythe a tiny bit because you move around and you get resources depending on where you go. And actually, there's a lot of overlap between Scythe. I never thought about that until this very moment because you're walking around getting different resources from different areas. Now, in Vindication, there are areas that change resources to other resources, and Scythe doesn't really have that. I don't know. I don't know if Scythe is close. You know what? I don't know. This game does completely new things, I guess. I don't know. I'm bad at board games.
Gotcha.
No, it's true. Like, I really don't know off the top of my head what this is like. I'm looking back on my shelves, trying to think of other things I've been playing. I have no idea. I'm gonna say Scythe, but that's a very loose
And that is
stand.
totally fine. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
if I guess maybe to me it sounds like if someone has played Scythe and wants to get into more of that, it sounds like Vindication might be an option to consider.
That's true. It's about the same weight, I would say. It's pretty. The rules are not as heavy. They did a really good job with the rule book. Actually, it's a really
Oh,
good rule
good.
book. Um, yeah, I'd say that.
Cool.
Anyway, it's a great
I
game.
dig
I'm
it.
excited to play more of it. I like that it played really good at 2 and at 5, and so I'm excited that it scales well
Excellent to
between that.
hear.
So
Yeah, because normally it's either it plays more with better player count,
yeah,
3, 4, 5 instead of like 2 or solo, or vice versa, right? Where the more players you bring into it, the harder the game becomes. It just becomes more chaotic than it becomes, you know,
Right.
strategic or thoughtful, right?
I think some people had some problems with downtime in a 5 player game because it was everyone's first time playing that many, and with the expansion, the game probably took us 2.5 hours to play after learning. And I think it would go faster after that. But I don't know if I'd play 5 again. I'd say 4 uh, is where I'd cap out.
Uh,
Anyway,
B Baronet says in chat, they think it's an amazing game and that it stays on your mind for a while. Did you have a similar thought process? Like, did you pack it up, go to bed, and you kind of thinking about it afterwards?
yes, totally true. My wife and I were actually talking about it the next day too, because like, oh man, the ad for our Twitch stream just played on my iPad. Because it's, I don't know, like it's trying to think of different ways you could do things, or you're like, oh, if I would have just done this, then this would have been easier the next time. So yeah, I agree. It did stick with me.
Cool.
Oh, it's a good game. I want to play it now. I'll
Well,
play it
play
right now.
it now.
Sniff you jerks later.
Oh,
Oh.
we're gonna end this
Anyway,
podcast early.
that is Vindication by Orange Nebula.